Hello, welcome to NIBA TV. This time I'd like to talk about a couple of things in New South Wales, particularly for brokers who've got clients with property in New South Wales, but more importantly, New South Wales workers' compensation. Many of you might have seen the ABC Four Corners report on workers' compensation on Monday, the 27th of July. A really worrying report about a number of aspects of workers' comp, both in Victoria, but particularly New South Wales. Quite a lot of concerns expressed about the state of the scheme and how it's been performing. NIBA has provided a significant amount of background information to an inquiry last year by the State Insurance Regulatory Authority, CIRA. They have a lot of examples of broker experience with workers' compensation claims, but also premiums. And we continue to meet with CIRA to pass on the experience of insurance brokers working with clients in the New South Wales workers' compensation system. In fact, we met with CIRA earlier this week, and quite a number of quite important concerns remain amongst in brokers, and they were passed on to the regulator. It was really concerning to hear the regulator, the head of CIRA, Carmel Donnelly, talk about grave concerns with the operation of the workers' comp scheme in New South Wales. That's a worry, and it can't be good for injured workers, but it also can't be good for employers. It looks like New South Wales Treasury and the government are aware, certainly, of the inherent problems. And it certainly appears that those issues are there. There's a New South Wales Parliament Upper House inquiry on workers' comp at the moment. There were hearings this week, and there'll be further hearings again next week. And I'm sure that will be looking into the whole situation quite thoroughly as well. NIBA's liaising with New South Wales Business Chamber of Commerce. Their members, of course, are the clients of brokers seeking help and support of brokers in this whole area. So we continue to try and do what we can to make sure that government and regulators are aware of just what's happening in a day-to-day sense on the ground for both premiums and for claims and return to work type matters. The other matter, of course, for New South Wales is the Emergency Services Levy. Over $1 billion to be raised from general insurance premiums for property in New South Wales in this financial year now. That's a massive impost on the cost of insurance in that state. NIBA is putting information to a whole bunch of government inquiries on this. We gave evidence last week. President Eric Harris, New South Wales Director Rebecca Wilson, and myself gave evidence to a Senate inquiry looking into the bushfires, but also looking at a number of things in and around the bushfires, and certainly the role of insurance in assisting with recovery. Insurance process doesn't really work if people can't afford to pay the premiums, or can't afford to take out full insurance cover for their property. And there was certainly evidence of that in a Four Corners program a couple of weeks ago on the bushfires and the impact of the cost of insurance, meaning people were taking conscious decisions not to insure their full property, and then they suffer a catastrophic loss. So we're doing what we can to make sure a whole range of inquiries, whether it's the Senate inquiry, the Royal Commission into bushfires, the David Thodey review of government federal financial relations, other work being done inside the New South Wales Small Business Agency for New South Wales Government. There's a whole bunch of areas where we just keep pressing the message that this is a massively unfair, inequitable burden carried by the people who try and do the right thing, but it's not a revenue. It's actually a massive disincentive to properly insure, and we just keep the pressure on, telling as many people as we possibly can. So a lot of activity looking at New South Wales at the moment. The Treasurer, to his credit, is talking about state tax reform. We certainly welcome that, but unfortunately the taxes he's talking about are not, or don't really include the Emergency Services Levy. That's unfortunate. We will keep pressing the message as best we possibly can. So watch this space, and if you have a chance to watch the ABC TV report, the Four Corners report on workers' comp, I recommend you have a look at that. Thanks for your interest, and we'll keep you posted with how these things develop. Thanks very much.